From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. Amid the diplomatic row between India and Canada over the killing of a prominent Sikh Canadian activist, Indian media is accusing Pakistan of orchestrating the murder. India Today and Hindustan Times cite sources as saying Sikh leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar was killed to strain relations between India and Canada. The media outlets claim Pakistan's inter-services intelligence hired criminals to kill Nijjar and pressured him to fully support gangsters who had come to Canada in the past 2 years. The media further claimed the ISI is now looking for a successor to Nijjar to lead the movement to create a separate Sikh state of Khalistan in the Indian state of Punjab. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau recently accused Indian agents of being responsible for Nijjar's assassination in British Columbia on June 18th. The U.S. says that its intelligence, as well as that from other countries, led Canada to accuse India. Detroit has settled a lawsuit filed by 3 Muslim men against 2 police officers stemming from an incident 3 years ago. It occurred on September 26, 2020, when police responded to a 911 report of an assault. During an interaction with a woman involved in the incident, she mentioned the men she was staying with were Muslim. This prompted Officer Donald Owens to make Islamophobic comments, which were recorded by surveillance cameras. Owens said Muslims lie a lot and Muslim men are pedophiles. Following this, the officers detained the 3 Muslim men in what was perceived as a humiliating manner. However, no charges were filed against the individuals. In September 2021, when the lawsuit was announced, the Detroit Police Department launched an internal investigation into the allegations against the officers. Owens received a 5-day suspension without pay after he was found guilty of official conduct violations. Director of the Michigan chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, Daoud Walid, says the settlement reflects the hope the Detroit Police Department will prioritize training to combat bias and promote better interaction with the city's Muslim population. A study conducted last year by Rice University and West Virginia University found that Muslims in the U.S. are over 4 times more likely to be harassed by police. United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain did not meet with former President Donald Trump during his visit to Michigan this week. He says Trump has made anti-worker statements and actions in the past. In an interview with CNN, Fain said he believes Trump only cares about the billionaire class, which hurts the nation. Fain also criticized Trump's past actions and comments, as well as his silence during the 2019 labor strike at General Motors, which President Joe Biden supported. Although the UAW has not endorsed any candidate in next year's presidential election, Fain clarified that his comments were simply his personal view of Trump. A New Jersey businessman has denied allegations that he bribed Senator Robert Menendez. This was to gain support from federal agriculture officials for exclusive rights to export halal meat to Egypt. Wael Hana was arrested at JFK International Airport in New York and later pleaded not guilty in a Manhattan federal court. Hannah's bail was set at $5 million. His attorney, Lawrence Lustberg, maintained his client's innocence. Prosecutors accuse Hannah and 2 other businessmen of bribing Menendez and his wife Nadine with cash, gold bars, and luxury goods to secure their business interests in Egypt. They also allege Menendez shared confidential data with Egyptian officials and purported a letter advocating for the release of $300 million to Egypt. Hannah's company, ISEG Halal Certified Incorporated, was granted sole rights to certify halal meat exports from the U.S. to Egypt in 2019. Although the Department of Agriculture questioned this monopoly, the senator reportedly urged the department to retain it. Prosecutors also allege Hannah provided financial support to Nadine Menendez in return. The growing Michigan Together Council recently hosted a meeting with 50 leaders of the American Muslim community. Michigan's Chief Growth Officer, Hillary Doe, says this was one of many meetings planned to understand the needs of Michigan residents. She stressed the importance of understanding the trends and concerns of the state's Muslim American community. Key issues addressed included housing, public transportation, and establishing gathering places for the arts. A comprehensive report with the council's findings will be presented to Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the Michigan legislature in December. National Association of Social Workers Michigan Chapter President and member of the council's Higher Education Working Group, Fatima Salman, helped organize the event. She stressed the importance of including diverse Muslim voices, especially from different sectors of the economy. Jermaine Carey, a local entrepreneur who attended the event, shed light on the unique challenges faced by Black Muslims. He emphasized the need for collaboration between religious leaders and local officials to build sustainable communities. Hunter Biden has initiated legal proceedings against Rudy Giuliani, accusing him of breaking federal and California state laws. The lawsuit alleges Giuliani illegally obtained computer data belonging to Biden from John Paul Mac Isaac, a computer repair shop owner from Delaware. It alleges Mac Isaac provided copies of Biden's hard drive to Giuliani and attorney Robert Costello. Biden's lawsuit alleges Giuliani and Costello viewed his emails, photos, banking details, and other personal financial records from the duplicated hard drive. Costello openly discussed inspecting Biden's laptop with New York Magazine. Giuliani also claimed on multiple podcast episodes that he accessed information from Biden's laptop. The lawsuit cites the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which forbids unauthorized computer access. It also references the California Penal Code, which bars intentionally accessing someone else's data for deceptive or fraudulent purposes. Palestinians protest Al-Aqsa Incursions near Gaza fence. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Palestinians continued their protests near a border fence with Israel for the 9th consecutive day. They are decrying Israeli settler incursions into the Al-Aqsa Mosque complex in occupied East Jerusalem. Protesters waved Palestinian flags and set tires ablaze amid chants condemning settler raids into Islam's third holiest site. One protester told Andalus News Agency that Palestinians must live freely in Gaza like other people around the world. Early Monday, scores of Israeli settlers forced their way into the Al-Aqsa complex under Israeli police protection to celebrate Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. For Muslims, Al-Aqsa represents the world's third holiest site. Jews call the area the Temple Mount, saying it was the site of two ancient Jewish temples. The interim Taliban government has expressed disappointment with recent discussions on Afghanistan at the United Nations. Taliban administration spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid says the UN Security Council meeting failed to acknowledge the regime's leadership. It also did not address the lifting of sanctions or the release of seized assets, he said. Since the Taliban's return to power in 2021, the U.S. has frozen about $7 billion in Afghan assets. Mujahid criticized the UN for being used by selfish groups against Afghanistan. The Taliban has criticized the UN for continuing to focus on education and women's work while neglecting other pressing issues. The Taliban nominated Suhail Shaheen to represent Afghanistan at the UN, which was not accepted. The UN has not yet recognized the Taliban as the country's ruling government. 3 more companies have been added to the United States blacklist of those that use forced Uyghur labor. Xinjiang Zhongtai Group, Xinjiang Tianshan Wool Textile, and Xinjiang Tianmian Foundation Textile are primarily textile manufacturers. They produce items like cashmere, velvet, yarn, and industrial salt. This brings the total number of blacklisted companies to 27 under the 2021 Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. The law bans imports of any products made wholly or partially by forced Uyghur labor. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas stressed America's commitment to ending forced Uyghur labor in China. He says the U.S. will not support companies profiting from human rights abuses. In a related development, the State Department has updated its Xinjiang Supply Chain Business Advisory. It highlights that the U.S. has found genocide and crimes against humanity in Xinjiang in 2022. The advisory offers guidelines on import controls and how forced labor products can infiltrate global supply chains. Under the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, goods from Xinjiang are assumed to involve Uyghur forced labor unless proven otherwise. Afghanistan's currency, the Afghani, has experienced an unexpected surge, making it the best performing currency this quarter with a 9% increase. According to Bloomberg data, this rise is due to the influx of billions in humanitarian aid, as well as increased trade with neighboring Asian countries. Since taking control 2 years ago, the Taliban has taken steps to solidify the currency's strength. This includes moves like banning the use of the U.S. dollars and Pakistani rupees for local transactions. They have also imposed strict regulations against the outflow of American dollars from the country. As well, the Taliban government has criminalized online commerce and imposed severe penalties for rule violations. The rise of the Afghan currency contrasts with the decline of the Pakistani rupee, which has lost 22% of its value this year, despite a recent 6% increase. Despite the currency's growth, the country faces high unemployment, and 2/3 of households have problems accessing basic needs, according to a World Bank report. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.